Winona's fingernails cracked against the rocks as she dragged herself through the burning sand. Blood trailed behind her like a dying snake's path. Her legs useless, dead cursed, scraped across the desert floor. 3 horses grew smaller on the horizon. Her father, her brothers, leaving. Come back. The words tore from her throat. Father, come back. The horses kept moving. Winona collapsed face first into the dirt. Sand filled her mouth, her nose, her eyes. She didn't care. She clawed at the ground, pulling herself forward another inch, then another, then stopped. What was the point? For the first time in 28 years, the Apache warrior who had never begged for anything began to pray. Not for rescue, not for healing, for death. 3 days earlier, Winona Clearwater had still been someone. She sat outside her family's wickiup, sharpening her knife. The blade caught morning light. Her younger brother Red Hawk walked past. Brother? He kept walking. Red Hawk. Nothing. This had been happening for 2 weeks. Ever since the cavalry's bullet found her spine. Ever since her legs became dead wood. She tried to stand. Arms pushed, muscles strained. Her legs refused. She fell sideways. Across camp, women whispered. Cursed, one said. Loud enough to hear. Winona had led raids for those women. Brought back horses. Killed 3 cavalrymen with bare hands when they attacked winter camp. Now they called her cursed. Her father emerged from the wickiup. Marcus Clearwater. 55 winters carved into his face. He did not look at her. Father, he paused. I need to speak with you. Nothing to speak about. My legs will heal. The medicine woman said your spirit left your legs forever. Marcus turned. His eyes weren't cold. They were empty. You are no longer a warrior. I'm still your daughter. Silence stretched between them. A daughter who cannot walk is a burden. The words hit like arrows. You don't mean that. We move camp in 3 days. Cavalry's coming. We travel fast. He paused. You cannot travel. Tie me to a horse. Drag me. I won't slow you down. You already have. He walked away. That night, Kicking Bear came. Her older brother. 32. The warrior their father wanted. Sister. He crouched beside her. You know what happens. I know nothing. Father decided. Council agrees. When we leave, you stay. You can't. This isn't cruelty. This is survival. The weak don't belong with the strong. I'm not weak. You can't walk. I can still fight. You can do nothing. His voice hardened. You're already dead. Your body just hasn't accepted it. He walked into darkness. Winona stared at the stars. Same stars she'd navigated by during raids. Same stars she'd wished upon as a child. Now they looked cold. She didn't sleep. On the 3rd morning they came. Marcus, Kicking Bear, Red Hawk, 3 horses, 1 travois. Get on, her father said. Hope flickered. They changed their minds, taking her along. She dragged herself onto the travois, arms pulling dead weight across wood, awkward, humiliating. She had once mounted horses in a single leap. Now she crawled. They traveled east, away from mountains, away from cavalry, away from everything. After 2 hours they stopped. Desert everywhere. Red sand, scattered rocks, no water, no shade. Get off, Marcus said. Winona's blood froze. Father, get off. Please. Now. She had never heard him scream. Not in battle. Not when her mother died. She rolled off, hit sand hard. Pain shot through her spine. Marcus placed a leather pouch beside her. Dried meat. 3 days, maybe. Father? Her voice cracked. Don't. No answer. I'm your daughter, firstborn. You taught me everything. Said I was the strongest warrior you ever trained. You were. Past tense. I can still be useful. Make weapons. Tan hides. You can do nothing. Look at me. She grabbed his ankle. Grip still iron. Still warrior's grip. Look at your daughter. Marcus looked down. For one moment, one terrible moment, something flickered in his eyes. Pain. Grief. Love. Then gone. Let go. Father. Let go, or Kicking Bear cuts off your hand. She released him. Marcus mounted his horse, looked at his sons. We ride. Wait. Winona pushed up on her arms. Don't leave me here. At least give me a knife. Let me end it with dignity. Red Hawk made a sound, almost a whimper. Quiet. Kicking Bear snapped. She's our sister. She's nothing. Kicking Bear looked at Winona with disgust. Be grateful for any food. Grateful? Winona laughed ugly. My own blood leaving me to rot? Accept your fate with honor. No honor here, only cowardice. She spat. You're not leaving because I'm weak. You're leaving because I remind you, any of you could end up here. One bullet, one fall, and you'd be lying in this dirt too. Kicking Bear yanked his horse around. Red Hawk reached into his saddlebag. Quick, quiet. Dropped something in the sand near Winona's hand. A small water skin. Hidden from the others. Their eyes met for half a heartbeat. Then he rode after his brothers. Winona watched the dust cloud shrink. Watched it disappear. She was alone. She picked up Red Hawk's water skin. Held it against her chest. At least one of them remembered she was human. The sun tried to kill her. It pressed down, stealing breath, cracking lips. She crawled toward a rock for shade. Arms screaming. Dead legs dragging like anchors. 10 feet. 20. 30. She collapsed against stone. Gasping. Red Hawk's water would last maybe a day. Her father's meat 3 days. After that, the coyotes would find her. Travelers passed on the first day. White settlers. Wagon and horses. Help! She screamed. They looked. Saw Apache. Kept moving. Of course. One less Indian. On the second day, her lips split. Blood mixed with sand. Hands going numb. Dehydration starting. She stopped praying. On the third morning, she heard hoofbeats. Didn't bother looking. Probably hallucination. The hoofbeats stopped. Lord Almighty! English. Man's voice. Winona opened her eyes. White man standing over her. Tall. Lean. Face weathered like old leather. Gray eyes like storm clouds. Rough farmer's clothes. Battered hat. He knelt. Miss, hear me. Winona tried speaking. Only a croak. He pulled a canteen, held it to her lips. Slow. Don't drink fast or you'll bring it up. Water. Warm. Tasted like metal. Most beautiful thing she'd ever known. Easy now. His voice calm, like finding half-dead Apache women happened daily. Name? Winona swallowed, throat burning. Why? Winona. Winona. I'm Elijah. Elijah Stone. Got a farm 8 miles east. He studied her face. What happened? She looked at him. Concerned face. Gentle hands. Canteen still offered. Family left me. Because I can't walk. Something crossed his face. Dark. Angry. Your own kin? Yes. Because you can't walk? Yes. Elijah stood. Looked toward the horizon where her family had vanished. His jaw worked hard. That ain't right, he finally said. That ain't right at all. It's our way. Weak get left behind. Ain't my way. He looked at her. Taking you to my farm. Rest there. Recover. Figure things out. Winona stared. Why? Why what? Why help me? I'm Apache. Your people and mine been killing each other for years. Ain't killed nobody who didn't try killing me first. He almost smiled. You don't look ready to try. Could be dangerous. Probably are. Strong folks usually are. He walked to his horse, came back with rope. Making a stretcher. Pull you behind my horse. Few hours to get home. Don't know if I'll make it. No. Don't know. He started working rope. Hands quick, sure. But leaving you here means you die. I ain't riding past while a woman dies in the sand. Don't matter what tribe. Don't matter skin color. Just matters she's human and needs help. Something cracked in Winona's chest. Not pain. Something she couldn't name. You're a fool, she said. Been called worse. People in town will hate you. Already do. Don't socialize. Why not? Elijah paused. Gray eyes went somewhere far away. Lost my wife. Long time back. He kept working. Lost my reason for people too. I'm sorry. Don't be. Ain't your fault. He laid the stretcher beside her. Gonna lift you on. It'll hurt. Ready? Winona nodded. Elijah's arms slid under her. Strong, not warrior bulk, but lean farmer toughness from years of hard work. He lifted her like she weighed nothing. Pain hit her spine like lightning. She bit her lip. Blood filled her mouth. I know, he said quietly. I know. Just breathe. He settled her on the stretcher, covered her with a blanket, tied ropes to his saddle. 8 miles, going slow as I can. Elijah Stone. He turned. Thank you. He tipped his hat. Save thanks for when we arrive. Lot goes wrong in 8 miles. He mounted, clicked his tongue. The stretcher jerked forward. Every bump sent fire through Winona's spine. Rocks jabbed her back. Rope creaked and groaned. Dust clogged her throat. But she kept her eyes open, watching the sky, watching the clouds drift past, watching the world move around her instead of leaving her behind. The farm appeared at sunset. Small wooden house, sagging porch, stable needing new shingles, fence missing half its posts. Scraggly cornrows fighting the desert. To Winona, it looked like a palace. Elijah pulled the stretcher to the porch, dismounted, knelt beside her. We're here. She was barely conscious. Journey took everything. Stay awake a bit. Need to get you inside. Weak nod. He carried her in. Single-room bed, table, wood stove shelves. Clean but sparse. Home of a man who lived alone and saw no point in decoration. He laid her on the bed. Getting water. Food. You need to eat. Need to sleep. Food first. He brought broth. Simple. Warm. She couldn't taste but forced herself to swallow. This your bed? She asked between sips. Only one I got. Where will you sleep? Stable's fine. Done it before. I'm taking your bed. You need it more. Winona set down the bowl. Why do you live alone? Elijah sat in a chair across the room. Told you. Lost my wife. What was her name? He was quiet for a long moment. Martha. Pretty name. She was pretty too, smiled all the time, even when things got hard. He looked at his hands. Fever took her, 10 years back. Took my son too. Never even got to hold him. And you've been alone since... Yep. 10 years is a long time. Feels like yesterday sometimes. Forever other times. He stood. You sleep now. Talk tomorrow. She heard him leave. Heard him settling in the stable. Giving his only bed to an Apache stranger. Winona closed her eyes. For the first time since the bullet found her spine, she slept without nightmares. She woke to hammering. Morning light through the window. Body aching everywhere. But alive. Inside. Safe. Hammering continued. Hello. Door opened. Elijah stood there, sawdust in his hair. Morning, how you feel? Like I got dragged 8 miles through desert. Small smile touched his lips. Fair enough. Hungry? Yes. He brought cornmeal and beans. What's the hammering? She asked. Building something. What? You'll see. He left. Hammering went all day, then all the next day, then the day after. Winona lay in bed listening, trying to guess, smelling sawdust and pine, hearing him curse softly when something went wrong, hearing him whistle when it went right. On the third afternoon he came inside, shirt soaked, hands raw and blistered. Can you sit up? Think so. He helped her, propping pillows behind her back. Good. Wait here. He disappeared. Came back carrying something large. A chair. With wheels. Winona stopped breathing. The frame was rough but solid. Seat wide enough for her muscular body. Wheels from a cart cleaned and greased. Armrests padded with old blankets. Every joint tight. Every surface sanded smooth. Took 3 days, Elijah said. Kept breaking and starting over. Had to make it strong enough to hold up. Make the wheels turn easy enough for you to push yourself. Winona couldn't speak. Ain't pretty. But it'll work. You won't have to lie in that bed all day. Won't have to crawl neither. She reached out, touched the armrest. Wood smooth under her fingers. No one had ever made her anything. I don't understand you, she whispered. Nothing to understand. You needed something. I could build it. So I did. I'm a stranger. Apache. Killed white men. And white men killed Apache. World's full of killing. He shrugged. Don't mean we keep at it forever. Winona's eyes burned. She blinked hard. Help me in. Elijah lifted her from the bed. Arms gentle but sure. Settled her into the chair. The chair held. Grab the wheels. Push. She gripped the rims. Pushed. The chair rolled forward. Pushed again. Rolled further. Moving. Under her own power. No crawling. Elijah! Yeah. She looked up at him. Eyes wet. Voice thick. I thought I'd never move again. Thought I'd spend whatever days I had left lying in dirt waiting to die. And now... Winona pushed the wheels again. Rolled across the room. Turned. Rolled back. Now I don't know what I think. Elijah nodded like that was exactly the right answer. That evening, Winona rolled herself onto the porch. First time outside since arriving. First time seeing the world from sitting up instead of lying down. The sky turned red, orange, purple. Desert stretched endless in every direction. But she wasn't afraid anymore. Elijah sat on the porch steps, whittling wood. What are you making? She asked. Don't know yet. Start carving, see what comes. That how you built this chair, started and saw what came? Pretty much. Most things work that way. Start with what you got. See what you can make. Winona was quiet. My father said something like that once. Warrior's life is like a river. Can't stop the current. Only choose how to swim. Sounds wise. He is. Her voice hardened. He's also the man who left me to die. Elijah stopped whittling. Can a man be both wise and cruel? I don't know. Still figuring that out. They sat in silence as darkness fell. Somewhere in the distance a coyote howled. Winona tensed. Elijah noticed. They won't come near the farm. Got a dog. Old boy named Dust. He's around somewhere. Keeps the coyotes back. A dog. Lazy one. Sleeps most of the day, but he'll let me know if trouble's coming. As if hearing his name, an old hound limped around the corner of the house. Gray muzzle, cloudy eyes, tail wagging slow. He walked right up to Winona's chair, sniffed her hand, licked it once, then lay down beside the wheel and went to sleep. He likes you, Elijah said. How can you tell? He don't lick just anybody. Took him 3 years to lick me. Winona looked at the old dog, at the chair beneath her, at the farmer whittling on the steps. 3 days ago she was dying in the desert. Now she had a roof, food, water, a chair that moved, a dog sleeping at her feet, and a man who asked nothing in return. Elijah. Yeah. What do you want from me? He looked at her, gray eyes steady. Nothing. Everyone wants something. Not everyone. Some folks just do what's right because it's right. He went back to whittling. You can stay long as you need. Leave when you want. Help around the farm if you're able. Or don't. Choice is yours. And if I choose to stay, then you stay. And if I choose to leave, then you leave. I'll give you supplies. Point you toward wherever you want to go. Winona shook her head slowly. I've never met anyone like you. Probably haven't met many farmers. She laughed. Short, surprised. Hadn't laughed in weeks. Elijah smiled. First real smile she'd seen from him. You should do that more, he said. Do what laugh suits you. Winona felt heat rise in her cheeks, turned away, looked at the darkening sky. Tomorrow, she said, I want to help. Help with what? Whatever needs doing. I can't walk, but my arms still work. My hands still work. I'm not useless. Never said you were. I know, but I need to say it. Need to prove it. To myself. Elijah nodded. All right. Tomorrow we'll find something. He stood, stretched, old bones popping. Getting cold. Should come inside. In a minute. He nodded. Went in. Winona stayed on the porch. Old dog dust still sleeping at her feet. Stars coming out one by one. Same stars from the desert. Same stars from camp. But different now. Not cold anymore. Not distant. Just stars. And somewhere out there her father and brothers were riding away, thinking she was dead or dying, thinking they'd never see her again. Maybe they were right. The Winona they knew. The warrior, the raider, the woman who could ride and fight and kill that Winona was gone. But someone new was sitting on this porch. Someone with wheels instead of legs. Someone who didn't know yet what she could become. Winona gripped the armrests of her chair, felt the solid wood beneath her palms, felt the strength still living in her arms, her shoulders, her heart. She wasn't dead, and she wasn't done. The old dog shifted in his sleep, paws twitching, chasing rabbits in his dreams. Winona reached down and rested her hand on his warm fur. We're both old and broken, aren't we? She whispered. Dust's tail wagged once. She smiled. Tomorrow she would work. Tomorrow she would prove she could still be useful. Tomorrow she would start building whatever came next. But tonight, she would sit here, breathing, living, waiting to see what the morning would bring. The next morning came faster than Winona expected. She opened her eyes to the sound of Elijah already moving outside. Boots on wooden planks. The creak of the stable door. A horse snorting. She pushed herself up and looked at the wheelchair beside the bed. Her wheelchair. Still felt strange thinking those words. She grabbed the armrests and pulled herself into the seat. Took 3 tries. Arms shaking. Sweat on her forehead. But she did it alone. That mattered. She rolled herself to the door and pushed it open. Elijah stood by the fence, hammer in hand. He looked up. You're awake. I said I wanted to help. That you did. He nodded toward the broken fence posts. Can you hold a board steady while I nail it? I can do more than hold a board. I know you can. But let's start there. Winona wheeled herself across the dirt yard. Wheels caught on rocks twice. She pushed harder, made it to the fence. Elijah handed her a long wooden plank. Hold it against that post. Keep it level. She gripped the board with both hands, held it firm. Elijah drove the first nail. The impact vibrated through the wood into her palms. Steady, he said. I am steady. He drove the second nail, third, fourth. Good. Next one. They worked like that for an hour. Winona holding, Elijah nailing, neither talking much. Just the rhythm of work, the sound of hammer on metal, the smell of fresh-cut pine. When they finished the first section, Elijah stepped back and looked at it. Not bad. Not bad. Winona raised an eyebrow. That's the straightest fence I've ever seen. You've seen a lot of fences. No, but I know straight when I see it. Elijah almost smiled. Fair enough. They moved to the next section. This time, Winona spoke first. How long have you had this farm? 12 years. Built the house myself, barn too. Fence has been falling apart since Martha died. Never saw the point in fixing it for just me. And now, there's two of us. Point enough. Winona felt something warm spread through her chest. She pushed it down. What happened to your wife? You said fever. Elijah's hammer paused mid-swing. You don't have to. Winona started. Typhoid. He drove the nail hard. Came through town like wildfire. Took 17 people in 2 weeks. Martha was the 8th. Were you sick too? No. That's the thing about typhoid. Takes who it wants. Leaves the rest to wonder why. He grabbed another nail. Spent 3 days watching her die. Couldn't do nothing. Just held her hand and watched. I'm sorry. Don't be. Wasn't your doing. He looked at her. What about you, your mother? Died giving birth to my youngest brother, Red Hawk. The one who gave you the water. Winona's hand went to her chest without thinking. She still had the empty water skin tucked inside her shirt. Couldn't bring herself to throw it away. Yes, that one. He's got some good in him. Maybe, or maybe he just felt guilty. Guilt and good ain't so different sometimes. They worked in silence after that, finished the second section, started the third. Around midday, Elijah went inside and came back with food. Cornbread and dried beef. He handed Winona her share and sat on an overturned bucket. You work hard, he said. I'm Apache. We don't know any other way. You work harder than most men I've known. I'm not most men. No, you ain't. Something in his voice made Winona look up. He was watching her with those gray eyes, not staring, just seeing. What? She asked. Nothing, just thinking. About what? About how wrong people are. Town folks, I mean. They see Apache, they see enemy. They don't see... He trailed off. Don't see what... A person. Just a person trying to live. Winona set down her cornbread. Your people killed my people for generations. My people killed yours. That's not nothing. No, it ain't nothing. But it ain't everything either. Elijah stood. We got more fence to fix. You ready? I'm always ready. They worked until sunset. By the time they finished, Winona's arms burned like fire. Her palms were raw. Her shoulders screamed. She had never felt better. Elijah looked at the completed fence. 30 feet of straight solid wood where rotting posts had stood that morning. We did that, Winona said. We did. Tomorrow what else needs doing? Elijah laughed, short and surprised, like he'd forgotten how. Stable roof leaks. Corn needs weeding. Got a wagon wheel that's been cracked for 2 years. Then we fix it all. You sure today was hard work? Today was nothing. I've ridden 50 miles in a day and fought a battle at the end. She paused. I mean, I used to. Used to don't matter. What matters is what you do now. Winona looked at her hands. Calloused. Strong. Still useful. Then now, I work. The days turned into a week. Winona learned the rhythm of the farm. Elijah rose at dawn. Fed the horse Solomon. Let old Dust out to patrol the property. Started whatever project needed doing. Winona joined him every morning. Held boards. Hauled water buckets with her powerful arms. Sorted nails. Sanded wood. Anything she could do from her chair she did. Some things she couldn't do. She couldn't climb the ladder to fix the stable roof. Couldn't walk the corn rows to pull weeds. Couldn't mount Solomon to ride into town for supplies. Those limitations burned like acid, but she swallowed the bitterness and found other ways. She built a long-handled tool for weeding, sat at the edge of the corn rows, and pulled weeds within reach. Moved her chair. pulled more. Took all day to do what Elijah could do in 2 hours. But she did it. One evening, Elijah came back from the stable to find every weed in the front rows gone. "You did this? Who else?" He shook his head slowly. "Woman, you're something else." "Is that good or bad?" "Good. Definitely good." That night they ate dinner together on the porch. Beans and salt pork. Simple food. Best meal Winona had ever tasted. "Can I ask you something?" Elijah said. "You can ask. Might not answer." "Fair enough." He set down his plate. "What were you like before?" "Before what?" "Before my legs. Before everything. When you were young. What did you dream about?" Winona was quiet for a long moment. "I dreamed about being the greatest warrior my tribe had ever seen. Greater than any man. Greater than my father." "Did you become that?" "Almost. For a while." She looked at her useless legs. "Then this happened." "And now, what do you dream about now?" The question caught her off guard. No one had ever asked her that. Not her father, not her brothers, no one. "I don't know," she admitted. "I haven't let myself dream since—" "Since your legs." "Yes." Elijah nodded. "Maybe it's time to start again. Dream about what I can't ride, can't fight, can't hunt. Everything I was is gone. Everything you were, maybe, but not everything you could be. What could I possibly be now?" Elijah looked at her, those gray eyes steady as stone. "Don't know yet, but I'd like to find out." Winona felt her heart do something strange, a flutter, a skip, something she hadn't felt since she was a foolish girl watching warriors ride into camp. She looked away. "We should sleep. Long day tomorrow." "Always is." But neither of them moved. They sat on the porch watching stars appear, and something unspoken hung in the air between them. Something new, something terrifying, something neither of them was ready to name. The second week brought trouble. Elijah had to go into town for supplies, flour, salt, nails, things the farm couldn't provide. "I'll be back before dark," he told Winona. "Stay near the house. Don't answer if anyone comes." "I can take care of myself." "I know you can. That ain't the point." He hesitated. "Town folks. They talk. Some of them know you're here. News travels fast in small places. Let them talk. Talk turns to action sometimes. Just be careful." He rode off on Solomon, leaving Winona alone for the first time since arriving. She worked in the yard, sorted the nails they'd collected from broken crates, organized Elijah's tools, which were scattered everywhere, made herself useful. Around midday she heard horses. 2 riders coming up the road. Winona wheeled herself to the side of the house where she couldn't be seen from the road, grabbed the hammer from the toolbox, held it tight. The horses stopped in front of the house. "Stone, Elijah, stone." Men's voices, rough, angry. "We know you're in there. Stone, come out and talk like a man." Winona stayed silent, heart pounding. "Fine. You want to hide, we'll come find you." Boots hit the ground. Footsteps coming toward the house. Winona gripped the hammer tighter. She couldn't run, couldn't hide, could only fight. The footsteps reached the porch. "Door's unlocked. Let's see what he's keeping in here." They went inside. Winona heard them moving around, knocking things over, breaking something. "Ain't here?" "Horse is gone. Must be in town." "So the Apache's alone." Silence. Then footsteps coming back outside. "Where are you, Redskin? We know you're here somewhere. Saw you from the road yesterday." Winona pressed herself against the wall, hammer raised. The first man came around the corner. Young, maybe 25, dirty clothes, mean eyes. He saw Winona and grinned. "There you are." Winona said nothing. "Look at this Bill, the savage in a wheelchair." He laughed. "Stone really scraped the bottom of the barrel." The second man appeared, older, bigger, same mean eyes. "What do you want?" Winona asked. "Want you gone. This is white man's land. No place for Apache. This is Elijah's land. He decides who stays. Stone don't decide nothing. He's a fool and a traitor, living with a savage." The young one spat. "Makes me sick." "Then leave. No one asked you here." The older one stepped forward. "You got a mouth on you." "I've got more than a mouth." Winona raised the hammer. "Come closer and find out." They looked at each other, looked at the hammer, looked at the muscular arms holding it. "She can't even walk, Bill." "Don't mean she can't swing." "Two of us, one of her, in a wheelchair." The older one shook his head. "Ain't worth it. Stone ain't here anyway. We'll come back." When we feel like it." He pointed at Winona. "Tell your man we're watching. Town don't want his kind. Don't want yours neither. Smart thing would be leaving. Both of you." "We're not going anywhere." "Then you'll regret it." They walked back to their horses, mounted up, rode away. Winona stayed pressed against the wall for a long time, heart still pounding, hammer still raised. Only when the hoofbeats faded completely did she let herself breathe. Elijah returned at sunset. He knew something was wrong the moment he saw her face. "What happened?" Winona told him. Everything. The two men. Their threats. The things they'd said. Elijah's jaw tightened with every word. "Did they hurt you?" "No." "Did they touch you?" "They didn't get close enough." He looked at the hammer still in her lap. "Would you have used it?" "Yes." "Even though there were two of them? Even if there were 10? Something flickered in Elijah's eyes. Pride, maybe. Or something deeper. "I know who they are. Bill Hendricks and his boy Tommy. Been causing trouble since Bill's wife left him. Blames everyone but himself. They said the town doesn't want you here." "Town hasn't wanted me here since I stopped going to church. This ain't new." "It's new because of me." Elijah sat down on the porch step, took off his hat, ran a hand through his hair. "Winona, listen to me. What happened today? It ain't your fault. Those men would have found a reason to hate me with or without you. You being here just gave them an excuse." "Maybe I should leave. If I'm putting you in danger." "No." The word came out hard. Final. "Elijah." "I said no." He looked at her. "I've spent 10 years alone on this farm. 10 years with nothing but ghosts and memories. Then you came. And for the first time since Martha died, I wake up looking forward to the day." He paused. "I ain't giving that up because of Bill Hendricks." Winona felt tears threatening. Pushed them back. "You barely know me." "I know enough. I'm Apache. Your people's enemy. You're Winona. That's all that matters." She looked at this man. This quiet, stubborn, gentle man who had pulled her from the desert and given her wheels and asked nothing in return. "Why?" she whispered. "Why do you care what happens to me?" Elijah was quiet for a long moment. "Because you remind me." "Of what?" "That people are worth saving, that life is worth living." He looked at the stars beginning to appear. "Martha used to say that every person you meet is carrying something heavy. Your job ain't to judge what they're carrying. Your job is to help them carry it." She sounds like she was wise. She was. Wisest person I ever knew. He turned to Winona. "You're carrying something heavy. Been carrying it since your family left you. Maybe longer. I can't make that weight go away. But I can help you carry it." "And what do you get in return?" "Someone to carry mine." Winona understood then. For the first time, she truly understood. He wasn't saving her out of pity. Wasn't helping her out of guilt. He was reaching for her because he was drowning too. Because loneliness had been killing him slowly for 10 years. Because he needed someone as much as she did. "Elijah." "Yeah. I'm not going anywhere." He nodded slowly. "Good." They sat on the porch as darkness fell. Old dust limped up and lay down between them. The night sounds rose around them, Crickets, coyotes, wind through the corn. Elijah. Yeah. Thank you for not giving up on me. Same goes for you. She looked at him. He looked at her. And something shifted between them. Not a word spoken. Not a touch exchanged. Just a recognition. An understanding. They were in this together now. Whatever came next, they would face it side by side. That night, for the first time, Winona dreamed of the future instead of the past. She dreamed of the farm with a real fence. A painted house. Crops growing tall. Children's laughter. She dreamed of Elijah's gray eyes looking at her the way they'd look tonight. She dreamed of belonging. And when she woke, the dream didn't fade. It stayed with her. Warm. Solid. Real. She looked out the window at the sunrise. Elijah was already working. Fixing something on the stable. Hammer rising and falling. Winona pulled herself into her chair. Time to help carry his weight. Time to let him carry hers. Time to start again. 3 weeks passed. Winona woke every morning before dawn now. Pulled herself into her chair without help. Rolled out to meet Elijah before he could start working alone. They had a rhythm. A pattern. Something that felt almost like a life. But trouble doesn't forget. It just waits. The morning it came back, Winona was hauling water from the well. She'd rigged a system with ropes and pulleys so she could do it from her chair. Took her 4 days to figure out. Elijah had watched her fail and try again and fail and try again without saying a word. When it finally worked, he'd just nodded and said, "Told you." She was on her 3rd bucket when she heard horses. Not 2 this time. 6. Winona dropped the rope and wheeled herself toward the house. Fast as she could push, arms burning, heart pounding. Elijah! He came running from the stable, saw the riders. His face went hard. Get inside. No. Winona! I said no. We face this together. He looked at her. Something passed between them. An understanding. He grabbed his rifle from inside the door. Stood on the porch. Winona rolled up beside him. The 6 riders stopped in front of the house. Bill Hendricks in front. His son Tommy beside him. 4 others Winona didn't recognize. All armed. All angry. Stone! Bill's voice carried across the yard. We gave you time. Time's up. You're on my property, Hendricks. I suggest you leave. Your property. Bill spat. This whole territory is white man's land, not fit for savages and the fools who bed them. Elijah's grip tightened on his rifle. Watch your mouth. Or what you gonna shoot 6 men, we'll hang you for murder. Then we'll deal with the Apache ourselves. One of the other men laughed. Might deal with her anyway. Been a while since I seen an Apache woman up close. Winona felt ice run through her veins. She'd heard talk like that before, knew what it meant. Try it, she said. Her voice came out steady, cold. See what happens. The man stopped laughing. She's got fire, Bill said. I'll give her that, but fire burns out. He looked at Elijah. Here's how this goes, Stone. You got until sundown to put her on a horse and send her away. Don't care where. Don't care if she lives or dies. Just get her off this land. And if I don't, then we come back tonight, and we burn this farm to the ground with both of you in it. Silence hung in the air. Elijah didn't flinch. You're threatening to murder us. I'm promising to clean up this territory. Sheriff won't care. Nobody will. Just another farm fire. Happens all the time out here. Get off my land, Hendricks. Sundown Stone, you've been warned. The 6 men turned their horses and rode away. Winona's hands were shaking. She gripped the armrests of her chair to hide it. Elijah lowered his rifle. They're serious, Winona said. I know. 6 men. We can't fight 6 men. I know. Then what do we do? Elijah was quiet for a long moment. Then he turned to her. You should go. What? He's right about one thing. If you're not here, they got no reason to come back. I can handle Hendricks. Been dealing with men like him my whole life. But you're telling me to leave. I'm telling you that you don't have to die for this farm. For me. Winona felt something crack inside her chest. Not pain. Rage. You think I'm afraid to die? That ain't. I've faced death since I was 15 years old. I've killed men and watched friends die and woken up every morning not knowing if I'd see sunset. Death doesn't scare me, Elijah Stone. Then what does? The question stopped her. She looked at this man. This quiet, stubborn, foolish man who'd pulled her from the desert and given her wheels and asked nothing in return. Losing this, she whispered. Losing you. Elijah's eyes softened. Winona? Don't. Don't tell me to leave. Don't try to protect me by pushing me away. I've been pushed away enough. Her voice broke. My father pushed me away. My brothers pushed me away. Everyone who ever claimed to love me pushed me away when I stopped being useful. That ain't what I'm doing. Then what are you doing? Trying to keep you alive. I don't want alive if it means alone again. Tears burned her eyes. She let them fall. I'd rather burn with you than ride away and live without you. Elijah stepped off the porch, knelt in front of her chair, took her hands in his. You mean that? Every word. He looked at her hands, large, strong, scarred from work. He lifted them to his lips and kissed her knuckles. Then we fight together. We fight together. He stood. His face was different now, harder. The face of a man who'd made a decision. We got until sundown. That's maybe 8 hours. We need to prepare. Prepare how? First we move anything flammable away from the house, water buckets at every corner. Then we barricade what we can. He looked at the stable. I'll move Solomon out back, tie him in the gully where they won't find him. And me. You know how to shoot. I know how to kill. That ain't the same thing. Put a weapon in my hands, you'll see. Elijah went inside, came back with an old shotgun. It kicks hard, both barrels. You get 2 shots, then you reload. He handed it to her. Can you handle it? Winona took the shotgun, checked the chambers, snapped it closed, raised it to her shoulder. My father taught me to shoot before I could walk. Funny how things circle back. Ain't nothing funny about tonight. No, there ain't. They worked for hours. Winona hauled water buckets until her arms screamed. Elijah moved hay and wood away from the house. They soaked blankets and hung them over the windows. Piled dirt against the base of the walls. Every hour felt like a minute. Around midday, Winona heard horses again. Her whole body tensed. But it wasn't 6 riders this time. Just one. An old man on a tired mule, gray beard, worn clothes, a canvas bag over his shoulder. That's Sam Crawford, Elijah said. Owns the general store in town. The old man stopped his mule in front of the house, looked at the water buckets, the soaked blankets, the rifle in Elijah's hands. Heard about Hendricks, Sam said. News travels fast. Bad news always does. Sam climbed off his mule, slow and stiff, old bones protesting. Brought you something. He reached into his canvas bag and pulled out a box of ammunition. Sam, don't argue, just take it. The old man handed the box to Elijah. My wife died of typhoid same time as Martha. You remember? I remember. After she passed, I wanted to die too. Only thing that kept me going was the store, having something to do, someone to talk to. Sam looked at Winona. I see that same look in your eyes, miss. The look of someone who found a reason to keep living. Winona didn't know what to say. Hendricks is a coward, Sam continued. He won't come alone. He'll wait until dark when he thinks he's got the advantage. But cowards don't expect people to fight back. He reached into his bag again, pulled out a small bottle. Coal oil, for your lamps. If they try to surround you, throw it and shoot. Fire's a weapon, too. Why are you helping us? Winona asked. Sam looked at her for a long moment. 20 years ago, I got bit by a rattlesnake. Should have died. Would have died. But an Apache medicine man found me. Didn't know my name. Didn't speak my language. He just saw a man dying and decided to help. Sam smiled. I figure I owe your people one. He climbed back on his mule. Sam, Elijah called. Yeah? Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Thank me when you're still alive tomorrow. He rode away. Winona looked at the ammunition, the coal oil, the weapons they'd gathered. Maybe we have a chance, she said. Maybe. You don't sound convinced. I'm convinced of one thing. Elijah looked at her. Whatever happens tonight, I'm glad you're here. Even if we die. Even then. Sunset came too fast. They ate dinner on the porch. Cold beans and bread. Neither tasted anything. The sky turned red, then orange, then purple, then black. They'll come from the road, Elijah said. But they might send men around back too, circle us. I'll watch the back. Winona. I can't run anyway. Might as well make myself useful where they don't expect me. He nodded slowly. If things go bad, if they get through, they won't. But if they do, don't let them take you alive. You understand? Winona understood. She'd always understood. Some things were worse than death. Same goes for you. Deal. She wheeled herself to the back of the house, positioned her chair where she could see the stable and the open ground beyond, shotgun across her lap, Sam's coal oil beside her. Old Dust lay at her feet. The dog wouldn't leave her side. Looks like it's you and me, old boy. Dust's tail wagged once. Hours passed. The moon rose, half full. Just enough light to see shadows moving. Then she heard them. Not from the road. From behind. Two men creeping through the darkness toward the stable. They thought they were quiet. They weren't. Winona raised her shotgun. You got about 5 seconds to turn around. The men froze. Who's there? Doesn't matter who. Matters what I'm holding. 12-gauge shotgun. Both barrels loaded. First man who moves gets his chest opened up. Silence. She's bluffing. She's in a wheelchair. Wheelchair don't mean I can't shoot. Ask the 3 cavalrymen I killed with my bare hands. Oh wait, you can't. They're dead. One of the men started backing away. Tommy, wait. I ain't dying for Bill Hendricks. The younger man turned and ran. The other man hesitated, looked at Winona, looked at the shotgun, made a decision. He ran too. Elijah, they're falling back. But her shout was swallowed by a different sound. Fire. She smelled it before she saw it. Smoke pouring around the side of the house. Orange light flickering against the walls. They'd lit the stable. No! She wheeled herself around the house as fast as she could. The stable was already engulfed. Flames reaching toward the sky. Heat hitting her face like a wall. Solomon! Elijah came running from the front of the house. He's in the gully! He's safe! But the fire was spreading, jumping from the stable to the fence, racing toward the house. The blankets, we need to wet the walls again. They worked in desperate silence. Winona throwing water while Elijah beat at the flames with soaked cloth. Smoke burned her eyes, her lungs, her arms shook from exhaustion. But she kept throwing water, kept fighting. Through the smoke she saw figures on horseback, watching, waiting to see if the fire would do their work for them. Cowards! She screamed. Come fight us yourselves! A gunshot cracked through the night. Elijah grabbed his chest. Fell. Elijah! Winona dropped the bucket and wheeled herself to him. He was on the ground, clutching his left shoulder, blood seeping between his fingers. I'm okay, he gasped. Just my shoulder. Went through clean. You're not okay. You're shot. Winona, the fire. Forget the fire. She grabbed his shirt, tore off a strip, pressed it against the wound. Hold this. Press hard. They're still out there. I know. She grabbed Sam's coal oil. The bottle was small. Wouldn't stop 6 men. But maybe she didn't need to stop them all. Just one. She wheeled herself toward the road, toward the riders silhouetted against the burning stable. Hendricks. The lead rider straightened. Well, look at that. The Apache comes to surrender. I'm not surrendering. I'm offering a deal. What kind of deal? Winona held up the coal oil, then the shotgun. Your men go home. You and me settle this, one-on-one. Bill Hendricks laughed. You're in a wheelchair. And you're a coward who shoots unarmed men from the dark. Seems like we're even. The laughter stopped. She just called you a coward, Pa. Tommy's voice, nervous. Shut up. Everyone in town's gonna hear about this. Bill Hendricks scared to face a crippled Apache woman. I said shut up. So prove me wrong. Winona's voice was calm now, cold. The voice of a warrior who'd accepted death. Get off your horse. Face me. Unless you're afraid. Silence. Then Bill Hendricks dismounted. Fine. You want to die, I'll kill you myself. Pa. Stay back, Tommy. This won't take long. He walked toward Winona, slowly, knife drawn. Winona waited, 10 feet away, 8, 6. She threw the coal oil at his feet. What the? She fired the shotgun at the ground in front of him. The muzzle flash ignited the oil. Bill Hendricks screamed as flames exploded around his boots. He stumbled backward, slapping at his legs. Winona didn't hesitate. She wheeled herself forward, grabbed the knife from his flailing hand, pressed the blade against his throat. Anyone moves, I open him up. Everyone froze. Bill Hendricks was on the ground now, rolling, trying to put out the fire on his pants. But Winona's blade kept him still. Here's what happens, she said. Her voice carried across the yard. You take your father, you ride away, you never come back, because if I see any of you on this land again, I won't aim for the ground. She's bluffing, one of the men said. Winona pressed the knife harder. A thin line of blood appeared on Hendricks's throat. Try me. Tommy Hendricks held up his hands. All right, we're going. He dismounted and ran to his father, pulled the old man up, half carried him to his horse. The other riders were already retreating, cowards fleeing like the cowards they were. This ain't over, Bill croaked. Yes, it is, because you know what I'll do if it isn't. You've seen what Apache do to enemies who won't stay dead. Winona smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. Ask around. See if anyone wants to test me. Tommy threw his father onto a horse, mounted his own. They rode away into the darkness. Gone. Winona sat in her chair, knife still in her hand, watching until the hoofbeats faded completely. Then she dropped the knife and wheeled herself back to Elijah. He was sitting up now, pale, sweating, but alive. You just set a man on fire, he said. Only a little. Then you threatened to cut his throat. Would have done it too. Elijah stared at her. Then he started laughing. Weak and pained, but real. You're terrifying. I know. Remind me never to make you angry. You couldn't if you tried. She helped him stand. His arm went around her shoulders for support. They stood there in front of their burning stable, covered in smoke and sweat and blood. We're alive, she said. Appears so. They might come back. They won't. You scared them worse than I ever could. I scared myself. Elijah looked at her. No, you didn't. You did what warriors do. Protected what matters. What matters? Us. This. Whatever this is. Winona looked at the smoldering stable, the scorched fence, the house that had survived. Elijah. Yeah. I think I know what I want to dream about now. What's that? She looked at him, at his gray eyes, his weathered face, his gentle, stubborn, foolish heart. This. Every day. Forever. He leaned down, pressed his forehead against hers. That sounds like a good dream. Best one I've ever had. They stood there until the last of the stable collapsed into embers. Then they went inside. Together. Elijah's wound took 2 weeks to heal proper. Winona changed his bandages every morning, cleaned the hole where the bullet went through, made him drink water mixed with herbs she remembered from her mother's teachings. He complained the whole time. Tastes like dirt. Dirt would kill you. This won't. You sure about that? Drink it, or I'll pour it down your throat. He drank. They rebuilt the stable together, slower this time with Elijah's shoulders still weak. Winona did more than she thought possible. Held boards, handed nails, even figured out how to swing a hammer from her chair without falling over. Took her 3 days to learn. Fell twice. Bruised her hip both times. But she learned. Sam Crawford came by with lumber. Wouldn't take payment. Consider it a gift. Town's been talking about what happened. About the Apache woman who set Bill Hendricks on fire and put a knife to his throat. They probably think I'm a savage. Some do. Others think you're the bravest person they ever heard of. Sam smiled. Hendricks hasn't shown his face in town since. Too embarrassed. Good. More than good. You did something nobody else could. You made a bully afraid. After Sam left, Winona sat on the porch and thought about that. Made a bully afraid. She'd spent her whole life making enemies afraid. Thought that part of her was gone when her legs died. Maybe not. Maybe she was still a warrior. Just a different kind. 1 month after the fire, Elijah sat down beside her at sunset. He'd been quiet all day, working hard but not talking. Something on his mind. What is it? Winona asked. What's what? You've been chewing on something since morning. Spit it out. He almost smiled. You know me too well. I know you well enough. Now talk. He took a deep breath, looked at his hands, looked at the horizon, looked everywhere except at her. I've been thinking. About us, about what this is. Winona felt her heart speed up. And what is this? I don't know. That's the problem. He finally looked at her. You live in my house. We eat together, work together. I think about you first thing when I wake up and last thing before I sleep, but I don't know what to call it. Does it need a name? Maybe. Maybe it does. He paused. Winona, I'm 43 years old. I've been alone for 10 years. I figured I'd die alone, made peace with that. Then you came and... He shook his head. Everything's different now. Different how? Different like I care if I live or die. Different like I want to see tomorrow. Different like... He stopped. Like what? Like I might be falling in love with you. The words hung in the air. Winona felt something crack open in her chest. Not pain. Something else. Something she'd buried so deep she forgot it existed. Elijah... You don't have to say anything. I know I'm just a farmer. I know you were a warrior. I know there's 100 reasons this makes no sense. But I needed to say it. Needed you to know. You think I don't feel it too? He looked at her, hope and fear fighting in his gray eyes. Do you? I've felt it since the day you built me that chair. Maybe before. Maybe since the moment you knelt in the sand and gave me water without asking anything in return. Then why haven't you said anything? Because I was afraid. Of what? Winona looked at her useless legs, at the chair that had become her whole world. Of this. Of me. Of what I am now. She took a breath. I was a warrior, Elijah. Strong, fast, powerful. Men feared me. Women respected me. I knew my worth. And now? Now I don't know what I'm worth. I can't walk, can't ride, can't hunt, can't do any of the things that made me who I was. And I kept thinking, why would any man want half a woman? Elijah's jaw tightened. Don't ever call yourself that. It's what I am. No, it isn't. He reached out and took her hands. You're not half anything, Winona. You're the strongest person I've ever known. What you've been through would have broken most people. Would have broken me. But you're still here. Still fighting. Still building something out of nothing. Building what? A life. Our life. If you want it. Winona felt tears threatening. Let them come. I want it. I want it so much it scares me. Then stop being scared. I'm not going anywhere. Not ever. He leaned forward. He leaned. Slow, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. Their lips met. The kiss was gentle, hesitant. Two people who'd forgotten how to trust reaching for each other in the dark. Then it wasn't gentle anymore. Winona grabbed the front of his shirt and pulled him closer. Kissed him like she was drowning and he was air. Kissed him like she'd been waiting her whole life for this moment and only just realized it. When they finally broke apart, both of them were breathing hard. Well, Elijah said, that's one way to answer. You talk too much. First time anyone's ever said that. She laughed, pulled him close again. They stayed on the porch until the stars came out. Talking, not talking, just being together. Finally, Elijah stood. It's late. We should sleep. Elijah. Yeah. Winona looked at him. At this man who'd saved her life and given her hope and just kissed her like she was precious. Don't sleep in the stable tonight. He understood. You sure? I'm sure. He lifted her from her chair, carried her inside, laid her gently on the bed. That night, two broken people found something whole in each other. And for the first time in her life, Winona understood what it meant to belong. The happiness lasted 3 weeks. Then her family came back. Winona heard the horses before she saw them. 3 riders coming from the west. Not townspeople. The way they sat their horses was different. Familiar. Apache. She wheeled herself to the porch, heart pounding. Elijah! He came running from behind the house, saw the riders, grabbed his rifle. Stay behind me. No, I know who they are. The riders stopped in front of the house. Her father. Her brothers. Marcus Clearwater looked older than Winona remembered. Only 2 months had passed, but he seemed to have aged 10 years. His face was gaunt. His shoulders stooped. Kicking Bear sat tall on his horse. Same arrogant posture. Same cold eyes. But Red Hawk wouldn't meet her gaze, kept looking at the ground, at his hands, anywhere but at her. Daughter. Marcus's voice was rough, tired. I'm not your daughter anymore. You made sure of that. Winona. You left me to die, in the desert, like an animal. I know. You know. Rage boiled up inside her. You know I crawled through sand for 3 days. My fingernails cracked. My lips bled. I prayed for death because you abandoned me. I know. Then why are you here to finish what you started? Marcus dismounted, slowly, like every movement hurt. I'm here to ask forgiveness. Winona laughed, ugly and sharp. Forgiveness. You want forgiveness. I don't expect it, just asking. Why? Why now? Why after 2 months? Marcus looked at the ground. Because I was wrong. Kicking Bear made a disgusted sound. Father, quiet. Marcus's voice was hard. I told you not to come. You came anyway, so you'll listen. Kicking Bear's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. Marcus turned back to Winona. I've been a warrior all my life, followed the old ways, believed the weak had no place among the strong. When your legs died, I thought I was doing what was right, what the ancestors would want. And now I know I was a coward. I was afraid to watch you suffer, afraid to be reminded that strength fades, that any of us could end up broken. His voice cracked. I told myself I was protecting the tribe, but I was protecting myself, from the pain of watching my daughter become something I didn't recognize. Winona felt her rage wavering, fought to hold on to it. Pretty words. Easy to say now that I survived. Yes, easy words, hollow words. I know that. Marcus looked at Elijah. This man saved you. Yes. A white man. A good man. Better than you. Marcus nodded slowly. I believe it. Father Kicking Bear interrupted. We came for a reason. We should speak it and leave. What reason? Winona asked. What could you possibly want from me? Kicking Bear answered before Marcus could. The tribe is dying. The cavalry has pushed us into the mountains. Food is scarce. Winter is coming. Half our warriors are dead. He looked at her with something that might have been respect. We need fighters, even ones who can't walk. You want me to come back after what you did. Want has nothing to do with it. We need you. Why I'm useless, remember a burden, already dead. Kicking Bear's jaw tightened. I was wrong to say that. Were you? Yes. The word seemed to cost him something. I've watched many warriors die these past months. Strong ones, fast ones. None of them fought like you did. None of them had your spirit. He paused. We need that spirit. Winona looked at her older brother. The brother who'd called her nothing. Who'd said she was already dead. Why should I help you? Because they're still your people. Whatever we did, they didn't do it. The children. The elders. The women who can't fight, they're innocent. Red Hawk finally spoke. Sister, please, I know we don't deserve your help. But the little ones, they're starving. Some of them won't survive the winter. Winona looked at her youngest brother, at the guilt carved into his face. You gave me water, she said softly. When they left me. You gave me your water skin. I should have done more, should have spoken up, should have... But you didn't. No, I didn't, and I'll never forgive myself for that. Tears rolled down his cheeks. But please, Winona, don't let the children pay for our mistakes. Elijah stepped forward. Winona, whatever you decide, I'm with you. She looked at him. They want me to go back to them, to help fight. I heard. If I go, I might not come back. Then I'll come with you. You can't. You're white. They'd kill you. Then we find another way. He took her hand. I'm not losing you. Not now. Not after everything. Marcus watched them. Something shifted in his eyes. You love her. Elijah didn't hesitate. Yes. And she loves you. Yes. Marcus nodded slowly. The old ways say Apache don't mix with whites. The old ways say many things. He looked at his daughter. The old ways also say a father protects his children. I failed that law worse than any other. What are you saying? Winona asked. I'm saying... Marcus took a deep breath. I'm saying, take your white man. Come back to the tribe. Help us survive the winter. And when spring comes, if you want to leave again, I won't stop you. And him, Elijah, you'll protect him. On my honor. Your honor means nothing to me. I know, but it's all I have left. Marcus looked at her. Old eyes. Tired eyes. I know I can't undo what I did. Can't make it right. But I can try to be better. Starting now. Kicking Bear shifted uncomfortably. Father, the tribe will never accept. The tribe will accept what I tell them to accept. I am still chief. Marcus's voice hardened. Or have you forgotten? Kicking Bear said nothing. Winona sat in her chair, feeling the weight of the moment pressing down on her. Her family, the people who'd abandoned her, asking for help. She should say no. Should tell them to leave and never come back. Should watch them right away the same way they'd watched her crawl through the sand. But she thought of the children, the elders, the innocent ones who had nothing to do with what happened to her. She thought of Red Hawk crying silently on his horse. She thought of her mother dead, these 20 years, who had always said that mercy was the truest strength. I have conditions. Marcus nodded. Name them. Elijah stays with me. Always. Anyone who threatens him answers to me. Agreed. I don't fight your battles for you. I teach. I advise. But I don't kill for a tribe that threw me away. Agreed. And when this is over, when your people are safe, you never contact me again. I owe you nothing. We owe each other nothing. Whatever bond we had died in that desert. Pain flickered across Marcus's face. Agreed. Winona looked at Elijah. Are you sure about this? It won't be safe. Nowhere's safe anymore. Might as well be unsafe together. She almost smiled. You're a fool. So you keep telling me. Winona turned back to her father. We leave tomorrow. Tonight you camp outside the farm, away from the house. Winona. Those are my terms. Take them or leave. Marcus nodded. We'll camp by the road. He mounted his horse, looked down at her. Thank you, daughter. Don't call me that. Don't ever call me that again. He flinched, but he nodded. The three riders turned and headed toward the road. Winona watched them go. Elijah stood beside her, took her hand. You okay? No, but I will be. You didn't have to say yes. Yes, I did. Not for them. For me. She looked at him. If I let children starve because of what their fathers did to me, I become worse than them. I won't let that happen. You're a good person, Winona Clearwater. I'm a complicated person. Same thing sometimes. That night they lay together in the dark. Neither of them slept. Elijah. Yeah. When this is over, if we survive, will you still want me? He pulled her closer. I'll want you when I'm old and gray. I'll want you when I can't remember my own name. I'll want you until they put me in the ground, and probably after that too. That's a long time. Not long enough. Winona pressed her face against his chest, listened to his heartbeat. Steady, strong, alive. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Neither do I. I'm scared. Me too. But I'm glad you're with me. Nowhere else I'd rather be. She lifted her head, found his lips in the darkness, kissed him long and deep. Whatever happens, she whispered, remember this. Remember us. Remember that for one moment we had something beautiful. It's not over, Winona. We're going to survive this. We're going to come back here and rebuild and grow old together on this porch. You promise? I promise. She wanted to believe him, wanted to believe in tomorrow, in next year, in forever. But she'd been left to die in the desert by people who loved her. She knew how quickly promises could break, so she held him tighter and tried not to think about morning. The journey to the Apache camp took 4 days. Elijah pulled Winona on a travois behind Solomon, same way he'd saved her from the desert. Different direction, different purpose. Marcus rode ahead. Kicking Bear stayed to the side, watching Elijah like a hawk waiting for weakness. Red Hawk rode beside the travois. Does it hurt? He asked on the second day. Being pulled like this? Yes. I'm sorry. You've said that already. I'll keep saying it until you believe me. Winona looked at her youngest brother, 19 years old, still had some softness in his face, some hope in his eyes. Why did you give me the water that day in the desert? Red Hawk was quiet for a long moment. Because you taught me to shoot, when I was 7. Father didn't have time. Kicking Bear said I was too weak to learn. But you took me behind the camp every morning for a month. Made me practice until my fingers bled. I remember. You never gave up on me, even when I missed every target. Even when I cried from frustration. You just said again, and handed me another arrow. Winona felt something loosen in her chest. Just a little. You were a terrible shot. Still am. Red Hawk almost smiled. But I got better because of you. Not good enough to speak up when they left me. The smile died. No, not good enough for that. He looked at his hands. I'll spend my whole life trying to be good enough. They didn't talk again until they reached the camp. The Apache village was smaller than Winona remembered. Fewer wiki-ups, fewer horses, fewer people. Faces she'd known her whole life were missing. Warriors who'd fought beside her. Women who'd taught her to tan hides and cook. Children who'd called her aunt. Gone. The survivors watched as the travois entered camp. Whispers spread like wildfire. Is that Winona? She's alive. The white man. Why is there a white man? Marcus dismounted and raised his hand. The whispers stopped. My daughter has returned. She comes with help. The white man is under my protection. Anyone who threatens him answers to me. An old woman stepped forward. Grandmother Yellowbird, the tribe's eldest. Her word carried weight even Marcus couldn't ignore. You left her to die. Now you bring her back. Explain. Marcus lowered his head. I was wrong. I ask forgiveness from the tribe. Forgiveness is not yours to ask. It is hers to give. Yellowbird looked at Winona. Granddaughter, do you forgive? Winona felt every eye on her. The whole tribe waiting. No, I don't forgive. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. But I'm here anyway. Not for him. Not for forgiveness. For the children who didn't abandon me. For the elders who had no say. For the tribe that still has a chance to survive. Yellowbird nodded slowly. You have your mother's heart. My mother died giving birth to a son who couldn't save me. Don't speak of her heart. Red Hawk flinched like he'd been struck. Yellowbird's eyes narrowed. Bitterness will poison you, child. So will trust. I've learned that lesson well. Silence. Then Yellowbird laughed, dry and cracked like old leather. Good. You've grown teeth. You'll need them for what's coming. Winona was given her own wiki-up. Elijah stayed with her. The tribe watched them with suspicion, curiosity, fear. Kicking Bear came the first night. The white man sleeps in your tent. Yes. You share a bed with him. That's none of your concern. It's every Apache's concern. You dishonor our people. Winona wheeled her chair to face her brother. In the firelight, his face was all angles and shadows. I dishonor our people. I dishonor them. She laughed bitterly. You left me to die in the desert like a dog. You called me nothing. You said I was already dead. And now you lecture me about honor. That was what a mistake. A moment of weakness, a lapse in judgment. She leaned forward. You didn't even look back, not once. You rode away and never looked back. You thought nothing. You felt nothing. You are nothing. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Get out of my sight before I show you what a crippled Apache can do to a healthy warrior who's forgotten how to fight. Kicking Bear's hand went to his knife. Try it, Winona said. Please, give me a reason. He held her gaze for a long moment. Then he turned and left. Elijah emerged from the shadows. You okay? Fine. You sure? Because that looked... I said I'm fine. He sat down beside her chair, didn't touch her, just sat. I know you're angry. Angry doesn't begin to describe it. I know, but if you let the anger control you, you'll make mistakes. And mistakes out here get people killed. Winona closed her eyes, took a breath. How do you do it? Stay so calm. Practice. 10 years of being alone teaches you a lot about controlling emotions. What if I can't control them? Then you use them. Anger's a tool, like a hammer. You can build with it or you can destroy. Choice is yours. Winona opened her eyes, looked at this white man who understood her better than her own blood. I don't deserve you. Probably not, but you're stuck with me anyway." She almost smiled. The next morning, Winona started teaching. She couldn't ride anymore, couldn't draw a bow from horseback, couldn't charge into battle. But she could think, plan, strategize. She gathered the remaining warriors. 12 men, 3 women. Not enough to win a war, maybe enough to survive one. The cavalry fights in formation, lines, ranks, predictable patterns. Our advantage is chaos, speed, unpredictability. "We know this already," one warrior said. "You know it. You don't use it. Every battle I've heard about you charged straight at them, died in waves. What would you have us do, run away?" "I'd have you fight smart instead of proud. Pride is for victory dances, survival is for battle." She drew in the dirt with a stick, showed them positions, flanking maneuvers, ambush points. Hit them here, here, here. Never the same place twice, never the same way. Make them afraid to sleep. Easy to say from a chair. Winona looked at the warrior who'd spoken. Young, maybe 20, fire in his eyes. "What's your name?" "Running Wolf." "How many cavalry have you killed, Running Wolf?" 2. "I've killed 11. From a horse, from the ground, with weapons and without. I killed the last one with my bare hands while his friends watched." She held up her scarred knuckles. "Still have his teeth marks on my fingers." Running Wolf looked at the scars, swallowed hard. "Now, any more questions about what I can say from my chair?" No one spoke. "Good. Let's continue." Days turned into weeks. Winona trained the warriors every morning. Elijah helped where he could, teaching them about white man tactics, cavalry movements, supply lines. At first, the tribe resented him. A white man in their camp, speaking their language badly, eating their food. But he worked hard, hauled water without complaint, fixed broken tools, helped rebuild damaged wickiups. Slowly the resentment faded. The children were the first to accept him. They followed him around, fascinated by his gray eyes and strange accent. He taught them to play cat's cradle with string, made them little wooden toys. "Your man is good with children," Yellowbird observed one day. "He had a son, almost." "What happened?" "Died before he was born, along with his mother." Yellowbird nodded. "Loss carves holes in us. Sometimes we fill them with bitterness, sometimes with love." She looked at Elijah, surrounded by giggling children. "He chose love." "He did. And you, what will you choose?" Winona didn't answer. The cavalry came 3 weeks after they arrived. 40 soldiers, well armed, well fed, coming to finish what they'd started. Marcus called a council. Warriors gathered around the central fire. "We can't fight 40 men," Kicking Bear said. "We have 15 warriors, maybe 20 if we count the women." "Then we run," another warrior suggested. "Move deeper into the mountains." "We've been running for months. The children can't take another winter march." They argued back and forth. Same arguments, same circles, same fear. Winona listened in silence. Finally, Marcus looked at her. "Daughter, you've been quiet." "I'm not your daughter." "Winona, you've been quiet. Do you have thoughts?" "Yes." "Share them." Winona wheeled herself to the center of the circle. Every eye on her. "You're thinking like prey, running or fighting. Those aren't the only choices. What else is there? Deception." She drew in the dirt again. The valley, the mountains, the cavalry's approach route. 40 soldiers need supplies, food, water, ammunition. They can't carry enough for a long campaign. That means they're expecting a quick fight, a massacre. "So we give them one," Running Wolf said. "Fight to the last." "No, we give them the appearance of a massacre. Empty camp, signs of panic, belongings left behind. They'll think we ran scared. And then we hit their supply line. Here." She pointed. "While they're celebrating their easy victory in an empty camp, we take their food, their water, their bullets. Let them starve in the mountains the same way they wanted us to starve." Silence. "It's risky. Kicking Bear said. If they catch us, they won't, because they'll be too busy feeling superior. Winona looked around the circle. Pride blinds people. I've seen it destroy tribes, destroy families. It works both ways. Let their pride destroy them. Marcus nodded slowly. It could work. It will work, if everyone follows the plan exactly. And if they don't, then we die. But we'll die anyway if we keep doing what we've been doing. The council voted, 12-3 in favor. They had 2 days to prepare. The plan worked. The cavalry rode into an empty camp, found cook fires still smoking, blankets left behind, signs of desperate flight. They celebrated, made camp, posted minimal guards. Why worry about a broken tribe fleeing through the mountains? That night, 12 Apache warriors hit the supply wagons. Winona couldn't go with them, couldn't fight, could only wait in the hidden camp with the children and elders listening for sounds of battle. Elijah waited with her. They'll be fine. You don't know that. No, but I believe it. Belief doesn't stop bullets. Neither does worry. Hours passed, the longest hours of Winona's life. Then finally, horses approaching, moving fast. Winona grabbed her shotgun, aimed at the darkness. Running Wolf emerged from the shadows, grinning. We got everything. Food for months, ammunition, even took their horses. Casualties? None. They never saw us coming. Relief flooded through Winona so fast she felt dizzy. And the cavalry? Woke up to nothing. No food, no transport. 40 men stranded in the mountains with winter coming. They'll come after us. Maybe, but they'll be weak, hungry, scared. Running Wolf's grin widened. Prey instead of predators. Winona allowed herself a small smile. Good. Then we keep moving. Stay ahead of them until the snows trap them. And then? Then nature does what we couldn't. Kills them slowly. Running Wolf nodded, respect in his eyes for the first time. You're a good war chief. I'm not a chief. Maybe not by name, but in every way that matters. He touched his chest. The warriors follow you now. Not Marcus. Not Kicking Bear. You. Winona looked at her father across the camp. He was watching her, something unreadable on his face. She turned away. Winter came hard. The tribe sheltered in a canyon the cavalry couldn't reach. They had food now. Blankets, ammunition to hunt. For the first time in months, children laughed. Winona worked with Elijah to build a proper chair that could handle rougher terrain. Bigger wheels, stronger frame. She could move through the camp almost as easily as anyone who could walk. One evening, Marcus came to her wiki-up. May I enter? No. Silence. Please, Winona, I need to speak with you. Then speak from there. He sighed. The tribe calls you war chief. Did you know that? I've heard. You've earned it. What you did with the cavalry, it saved us. I didn't do it for you. I know. You did it for the children, the innocent ones. He paused. That's what makes you better than me. You can separate your anger from your duty. Winona said nothing. I'm dying, Winona. She froze. The sickness has been in my lungs for months. By spring I'll be gone. You're lying. I wish I was. He coughed, wet and rattling. The tribe will need a leader. Kicking Bear is strong, but stupid. Red Hawk is kind, but weak. Neither can hold the people together. And you think I can? I know you can. I don't want it. I didn't ask what you wanted. I told you what the tribe needs. His voice softened. This is my last gift to you, daughter. The only thing I have left to give. A chance to be something more than what I made you. You made me a cripple left to die in the desert. Yes, and you became something stronger. Proved every belief I held was wrong. He coughed again. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking you to lead. Not for me. For them. Winona sat in silence for a long time. Finally, she spoke. If I lead, I do it my way. No more leaving the weak behind. No more blind raids. No more pride before survival. Agreed. And Elijah stays, as my partner, my equal, my husband, if he'll have me. The tribe won't. The tribe will accept what I tell them to accept. Those are your words, from the day you came to the farm. Marcus was quiet. So be it. He walked away into the darkness. Winona found Elijah by the fire, sat beside him. What did your father want? To make me chief. Elijah looked at her. What did you say? I said yes, on one condition. What condition? Winona took his hand, looked into his gray eyes. Marry me. Elijah blinked. What? Marry me. Here. Now. Tonight. Winona. I don't have a ring. Don't have a preacher. Don't have anything but this life and this love and this moment. But I want to spend whatever time I have left with you, as your wife, your partner, your equal. Elijah's eyes glistened. I was supposed to ask you. Too slow. I asked first. He laughed, choked and wet. Yes. God, yes. 1,000 times yes. He kissed her. Deep and long, and full of everything they'd built together. When they broke apart, Grandmother Yellowbird was standing nearby. I heard. The whole camp heard. She smiled. Shall I perform the ceremony? Now. Why wait? Tomorrow isn't promised to any of us. They gathered the tribe, all of them, warriors and children and elders. Winona sat in her chair. Elijah knelt beside her. Yellowbird spoke the old words, Apache words about joining, about becoming one, about walking the same path until the path ended. Do you take this woman as your wife to protect and honor until death separates you? Elijah looked at Winona. I do. Do you take this man as your husband to stand beside him through all trials until death separates you? Winona squeezed his hand. I do. Then by the authority of our ancestors and the spirits of this land, I declare you married. One heart, one path, one destiny. The tribe cheered. Even Kicking Bear, standing in the back, nodded once. Almost respect. Red Hawk was crying, not trying to hide it. Marcus watched from his wickiup, too weak to stand. But Winona saw him smile. The first real smile she'd seen from him since she was a child. She didn't smile back. But she didn't look away either. That night in their wickiup, Winona and Elijah lay together as husband and wife. Mrs. Stone, he whispered, has a nice ring to it. I'm keeping my name. Figured as much. She laughed. Genuine, light, free. What happens now? He asked. Now we survive the winter. Build the tribe back up. Make a life. Here in the mountains. Maybe. Or maybe somewhere new. Somewhere nobody knows us. Where we can start fresh. Like the farm. Like the farm. But bigger. For all of us. Elijah pulled her close. I like that dream. It's a good dream. Best one I've ever had. They slept tangled together. Two broken people who'd found something whole. Two abandoned souls who'd built a home in each other. Outside, snow fell softly. The tribe slept safe. And somewhere in the mountains, 40 cavalrymen shivered and starved victims of their own pride. Spring came late that year. Marcus Clearwater died 3 days before the thaw. Winona held his hand at the end. Didn't speak, just held on until his eyes closed for the last time. She buried him beside her mother. Said no words, shed no tears. But she stayed at the grave until sunset. Elijah found her there. You okay? I don't know. That's fair. I hated him. Part of me still does. Also fair. But part of me, she trailed off. Loved him anyway. Is that wrong? No. That's human. Complicated and messy and real. Winona looked at the grave. He was a terrible father, but he made me strong. Made me a warrior. Without him, I wouldn't have survived the desert, wouldn't have fought off Hendrix, wouldn't be here. So he gave you something after all? Yeah. He gave me the weapons to survive what he did to me. She laughed softly. That's twisted. Most families are. She looked at Elijah, her husband, her partner, her home. I want to go back. Back where? The farm. Our farm. I want to rebuild it, expand it, make it big enough for the tribe. Anyone who wants to come. All of them. The ones who choose to. The old ways are dying, Elijah. The cavalry will keep coming. The reservations will keep growing. Our only chance is to adapt, to find a new way. A farm full of Apache and one white man. A community where nobody gets left behind, where strength means helping each other, not abandoning the weak. She took his hand. Will you help me build it? I'll help you build anything. They returned to the farm in late spring. Elijah and Winona, Red Hawk, and 6 families who chose to follow. 23 people in all. Sam Crawford met them at the edge of town. Heard you were coming back. Brought supplies. Why? Because this territory needs people willing to work. Don't much care what color they are. He looked at the group. You'll face trouble. Hendrix has friends. Let them come, Winona said. We've faced worse. They rebuilt the farm, expanded it, added more houses, more fields, more life. Winona led from her chair, made decisions, settled disputes, planned for futures. She never walked again. But she never needed to. Because she had wheels that carried her everywhere she needed to go, and people who carried her when the wheels couldn't. 1 year later, she sat on the porch of the main house, Elijah beside her, old dust at her feet. The farm stretched out before them, corn growing tall, children playing, warriors who'd become farmers working the fields. We built this, she said. We did. My father would hate it. Probably. Good. She leaned her head on Elijah's shoulder. Elijah. Yeah. Thank you. For what? For stopping. That day in the desert. For not riding past. He kissed the top of her head. Best decision I ever made. Really? Nope. Marrying you was the best decision. Stopping in the desert was second best. She laughed. The sun set over the farm. Their farm. Built from nothing by people who had nothing. Winona Clearwater had been left to die in the desert by her own blood. But she didn't die. She built a life, found a love, created a home. And on that porch surrounded by family she chose and a future she made, she finally understood what her mother had meant about mercy being the truest strength. She had shown mercy to a tribe that abandoned her, and in return she had gained everything, not because she deserved it, not because she earned it, but because she chose it. Every single day she chose hope over bitterness, love over hate, building over destroying, and that choice made all the difference. The abandoned woman became a leader, the crippled warrior became a founder, the broken heart became whole. And they lived not happily ever after because life is never that simple, but fully, completely, together, which was better than any fairy tale, which was real.